Have you ever pondered the mysteries of the ancient draft system? Specifically, how did it unfold in ancient China? An intriguing question indeed. The story of the draft in ancient China begins with the dawn of the Han dynasty. In these early days, male commoners, once they reached the age of 23, found themselves eligible for conscription. Can you imagine? One day you're toiling in the fields and the next you're drawn into the military life, a life that could be as challenging as it was rewarding. But the story doesn't end there. In the year 155 before the Common Era, the minimum age for conscription was lowered. Now young men barely out of their teens at the tender age of 20 could be drafted into the military. A stark shift indeed, but one that reflected the demands and realities of the times. So what was life like for these young men once they found themselves conscripted? Well, it was a world apart from the life they had known. They were soldiers now, a role that required discipline, courage, and resilience. Long days filled with rigorous training and drills, learning to master the art of warfare and the tools that came with it. It was a tough existence, but one that forged strong bonds among the men, bonds that often lasted a lifetime. And what of life after the military? For many, their term of service could span decades, a significant portion of their lives, but once their service was completed, they weren't simply cast aside. No, they were often rewarded for their service. Some received grants of land, a tangible reward for their years of dedication and sacrifice. Others found positions within the government, their military service acting as a springboard to a new career. Now, you might be wondering, how did this compare to the draft and military life in Europe during the same period? It was quite different, to say the least. In Europe, military service was often a matter of heritage and class, with noble families providing knights and soldiers. In contrast, in ancient China, the draft was a burden shared across commoners, a system that provided opportunities, but also demanded sacrifices. In conclusion, the draft in ancient China was a complex system, one that drew young men into a challenging, yet rewarding military life, before leading them into a post-military life that offered benefits and opportunities. It's a story of duty, sacrifice and reward. A story that paints a vivid picture of life in ancient China. A tale I hope you found as captivating as it is enlightening.